Hi, I thought I'd record this short video to show you how to set a Desmos task because I appreciate it's quite fast in the session and this might be useful to look back on. So this page that I'm on now is the Maths for A-Level Psychology Desmos collection that I've been working on and I keep adding to as well. So you've got the link to this. So whenever I create a new activity, it will automatically go on here. You'll notice in the top right-hand corner, I'm signed into this. You will need to sign into Desmos if you want to set these tasks for your class. You can sign in with Google or you can register with a different email address. It's free and it's always going to be free. It's not going to change in that way. Your students don't have to register. If you want to set up as a class though, then they will have to. So that's just a decision you'll need to make whether you want them to be in a class where you can put all the activities or just set these as one-off tasks. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to just set it as a one-off task, just because it's the most straightforward and doesn't require them to log in. So you can see there's 23 activities at the minute. But if I scroll down, you can see that there's different categories. So we've got something in sampling, descriptive statistics. So these are all about calculating averages and spread. Sometimes they're actually about working them out, and sometimes they're worked out for the student in the activity and they have to discuss what they mean. So the one I'm going to show you how to set is the stroop experiment. But obviously, if you scroll down further, you can see lots and lots of different things. And like I said, I'm going to be adding to them as well. So if I just go back up to the stroop experiment, and then we click on this. Okay, so I'll try to put a bit of description in to tell you what the experiment is about. And what's going to happen in the activity. But I would always recommend that you scroll down and you click on student preview and you actually just sort of test it out and see what it's like from a student point of view. So if I press this, you'll see this is what the student's going to see. You'll also see what the teacher moves are. So those are just like sometimes suggested answers, or sometimes they're just advice about using it. So you can see here it says that we suggest that you paste this activity and then when you let them do slides 2 and 3. I'm going to show you in a minute what I mean by that. But just first of all, let's just look through. The students obviously don't see that whenever you set the activity. So the first slide is just a holding slide. And then we've got the first one, which explains what they have to do. So they have to say the color of each word. So when I press start, the words are going to appear. And I'm going to be saying the color of them. I'm not actually going to do it. But this is what would happen. So I would press start and then I would go red, yellow, green, blue, and so on. And I would read all of those and see how long it took me and then press finish. So if you could be doing this in pairs if you wanted to, and someone could be checking and pressing start and finish for the students, or this is something if you trusted them that they could do at home, perhaps on phones or whatever. So it depends on the circumstances and what's allowed kind of in your school. And then on part 2 of the experiment, this time the color and the word does not match. And we still have to say the color though. This is something that people have got wrong when I've used it with them. So if I press start, I have to say blue, red, gray, and it becomes a lot more difficult. So obviously the idea is that this is going to take significantly longer, which it might not do because I'm not doing it correctly and I'm just guessing. But anyway, so we would count how long it took and then we would press finish. And then we'd be told the time. So we have the 2 times. So this is the bit I would suggest that you pace is what I mean. You restrict the students to only be able to do this part of the activity. And then you open it up and then you go on to the next one. So let me just move those teacher moves out of the way because there's quite a lot of them. So you can see here that we get all the results of the times. So I'm just going to scroll down a bit. So this is the bit where the color match the word. And we've got what's called a dot plot, and we've also got box plot above it. And then we can see the times after. So students are first of all just asked to compare the 2 of those. They're not really given any guidance about how to compare them. So they might just say that it took longer, because the fastest time here was 10 and the fastest time here was around about 20. These have been rounded as well, just to check that you know that. So they might just say really informal things. They might not calculate anything. They might do, but at the minute they might just sort of say informally what they notice about where the points are and perhaps how spread out they are. You can see here that our point is in red and the other points are in green. Now, for the test purposes of this, these are the green bits are dummy data that's stored in the background. Whenever your students do this, if there's more than one student having a go, it'll only be their data. That dummy data will not appear, but it's just useful to be able to test the activity and see what happens. And then if we go to the next slide, you'll see that we have the same thing again, but this time all the summary statistics have been worked out. So you're able to perhaps click on the median. I'll just make this a bit bigger so you can see of both of them there. And then if you have a look at the graphs, you can see that, the median here is obviously a lot lower than the median here and where it corresponds to in the box plot. So you can start to have more sophisticated comparison because different data information about the data there. So if I take off the median, for example, you can see the standard deviation of this one is 2.7 and 3. And so these dotted blue lines show one standard deviation away from the mean either side. And so you can see that slightly more spread out results. So perhaps this change of color thing does not affect people as much in the same way, perhaps. So that, and then the final slide is just like a sort of thanks for doing this activity. And here's a little video that's provided by Deb as well from the ATP. It's got a wee bit more information on the Stroop experiment too. So let me just close that down. So that's always what I'd recommend that you do first, is just work your way through the activity, have a go. You can just type in random answers as well. It's not going to store it anywhere. It's just to test it. Once you're thinking happy, yes, I would like my class to do that, what you need to do is click on assign. And I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to show you how to do a single session code for your class, like a one-off code. So you click that. I'm going to make it active for 48 hours. So that means students will be able to do the activity for 48 hours, but I will still be able to see the results for as long as I want, but you can choose how long you want it to be for. You can force it that it only has to be students signing in. There's certain GDPR rules about this. It's fully GDPR compliant. And then you can create invite code. So you'll see this line pops up here. And this is my new live activity. And if I click to view dashboard, this is what we call the teacher dashboard. And it's where I will see all the student answers coming in. There's two different ways that students can access this activity. We can either just copy the link and share it with Google Classroom or whatever you want to. But if you're in a class and they're using a phone, it might be easier just to get them to go to student.desmos.com and type in that code. So you could just copy that and put it on a PowerPoint or put it on the screen, whatever you find easiest. So I always just copy it and then send it to them. And then if I just shut that, you'll see this is my teacher dashboard. We've got no students that joined, obviously, we just created it. But what I always do is anonymize it. So students just feel a bit more comfortable about answering the questions. And because in this activity, I want to gather the data before they obviously analyze it. So I want to pace it and I want to restrict them to only slides 1 to 3. So I'm going to do that. And that means when I share that link with them, they can only do those and that's it. And then so I might set that for homework and say, right, really take it seriously, take your time, do it properly. And then when they come in the next day, I might just get the results and show slide 4 and see what happens. Now it's not going to look correct now because obviously we haven't done the activity, but I would maybe just show that as a student and put that up there, and then we would have the discussion about the data in the lesson. And when the students appear, you will see all of them there. The other nice things that you can do are you can take snapshots. So when they write comments, you can put them up on the screen and things like that. So at the minute, I was just going to stop there and say that's how you would set an activity and see what happens. The thing you might want to start by doing is just doing what I've just done and then sharing that link with a few friends or colleagues, just getting them to have a go at it. and then opening it up and going from there. It's about playing with it until you become comfortable, maybe before you want to shoot it with your class. I hope that's helpful. Okay, thank you.